Morning, guys. Rover dude here, and on my daily quest to work. Lovely. Oh, I wish I didn't have to, but unfortunately I do. But anyway, we may be closing on our house this coming weekend, I believe. So that's a cool thing, and if everything goes well, we may be relocating to the Inverness area. So that's gonna be, we're looking forward to that. It's gonna be an area where there's a lot of four-wheeling possibilities, with four-wheel drives. There's a lot of trails out there, as I mentioned, a lot of state parks. I think there's like 6 in total, and they have all types of terrain, from just cruising within the forest to actually some stuff where you can climb with the vehicles, from what I've seen in the videos. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So a lot to look forward here. Just gotta see if I can get a transfer to my job up there, and then we'll be looking good. So just to give you guys a heads up as to what's going on, I got a couple videos I'm working on that I'm going to be posting soon. One of them is it's showing before I put the timing belt on, and it talks about in reference to certain little things you want to check. And very happy to say the second one, I finally got the timing belt on. Everything's buttoned up. The what do you call it? The head bolts, everything's torqued up. The bolts that hold the top section of the heads are torqued up, except for one. I did have a boo-boo with one where I think it kind of stripped a little bit, but I'm gonna buy an oversized screw and put it in there. And you're saying, oh my god, he's crazy, why not just re-tap it? But the reason I'm doing this is because I just want to get this car going, and it's at one of the center I guess these center bearings that holds the camshaft. It's actually not even a bearing, it's a machined cover. So I think it'll be okay. Most of the pressure is downward on the camshafts, so I think it'll be okay. If it fails, what the heck, I'll just put a new head in there. That's all I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna go for it and see what happens. I have to actually buy the oversized screw today. We have a local hardware store here that has a pretty good selection, Ace Hardware. So I'm gonna go to them to see if I can get that oversized screw and go from there. And for some reason, I'm looking, we have a big traffic jam here. Hope something didn't happen up there. But yeah, going back to the point, I get easily sidetracked. I don't know why. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna buy that oversized screw and try to put that guy in and see if we go from there. Today I plan to continue with the putting together of the motor. If it's not pouring today, I'm going to put the valve covers on and see if I can put the front cover on for the timing chain, the timing belt. I wish it had a chain, timing belt. Put those front covers on, put the front motor mounts on, and I still have to buy oil and radiator fluid for it. So I may, right after this video, I'll put in the video where it shows the internals, the timing belt on, the another quick look at the heads, and I'll show you my screw that messed up. I'll give you guys a look at that. It's an 8mm screw. Well, the head is an 8mm, but I'm not sure what the size of the actual screw is. But I'm gonna have it measured up, and then again, as I said, go like one size up, and that should pretty much hold everything together. It's not torqued very high. It's only like I think it was 14 Newton meters. So it's very, it's not very tight. If you go too tight, you're gonna pop them. This one apparently was already damaged because I tried to torque it to the specs, and it popped up. But anyway, I'm going to torque them to their specs, and I torque it to the specs, and go from there. It should be all right. It should be fine. It doesn't, even if it's a little bit bigger, oversized, it won't hurt it, because it is actually, it really doesn't do much, and it doesn't go near anything. It just kind of holds that one cap in place. Everything else is torqued fine. So we're gonna give that a shot. Oh, by the way, today they're coming by to repair the window on this vehicle, on this Discovery. So let's see how that turns out. It's been a fiasco. If you saw my prior video, I went into a little bit as to all the stuff that happened with the window on this thing, with the front windshield. But it was quite a mess. So let's see if they get it right. What has to be changed is the front windshield, the front cowl piece that goes under the windshield wipers. Let me see. Hopefully they won't break the plastic side pieces, because those were replaced once before. And hopefully it won't leak, because this one has been leaking through the driver's side now. Before it was the passenger side, now it's the driver's side. But this one's busted up anyway. It's all cracked up. So hopefully we'll get that squared away. And then again, I got to think about what I'm going to do with this Discovery. If I'm going to keep it or get something else just to ride around in, and then so I can finish working on my Freelander. So I hope you guys enjoyed these talks. I haven't gotten into the actual gist of videoing more of the Freelander, and it's due to the weather mainly, because it's been pretty bad. Yesterday when I was finishing up the timing belt, it was actually, thank God I had that 10x10 gazebo, because as soon as of course, never fails, as soon as I started putting on the timing belt on the last pulley, it started pouring, and I mean pouring. So I chugged on. I mean, I was pretty much covered. Wasn't having too many difficulties of getting wet, but I did do that, and was able to finish that up. Fortunately, I did torque all the bolts before the weather started getting bad, and I started pretty early. That's was weird. I started like around 11 o'clock, noon or so, and I thought it was going to be alright because the weather was nice, and all of a sudden the clouds started rolling in, typical Florida weather, and boom, the rain started. So yeah, that was a bummer. I wish I would have done more if the weather wasn't that bad. I would have done more, would have chugged ahead a little bit. I did also some of the piping at the bottom of the vehicle to the radiator, and I relocated, there are these tubes that go to the cooling system They're near the firewall. I actually separated them from the heads so that it's easier to change the spark plugs out and to service the ignition coils, because they are difficult, very difficult to get to with those that tubing that goes for the cooling system that goes right behind the engine. They're very, very difficult to service. So hopefully this will cure that. So right now I got plenty of space back there, and I pretty much, that's about it. I gotta put the valve covers on. I got a new set of plugs. I'm going with a new set of ignition coils I bought on eBay. These were relatively cheap, actually, so I'm gonna give them a shot. I know there have been I've seen some information on the Land Rover forums that some of these aftermarkets can fail, but I do plan to get the factory OEMs, but they're rather pricey. I mean, it's sick. These 6 ignition coils, I got them for like about $120, which is like amazing. So hopefully they're good. The factory OEMs are about that each, so big price difference. What I may do is, I'm just gonna use this for fun anyway. I may just get another set of the cheapos on eBay and keep them in the car. They're relatively easy to change, and as soon as they fail, you'll know. The thing starts sputtering all over the place. So I may just go that route and save some money and use the money for other stuff, because I do want to do a bunch of upgrades on it. I actually found also a little bit of rust underneath, well, actually surface rust underneath the radiator. It's a front section under the radiator and a little bit on the sides. And what I may do is I may do a little future project on that, video that. I got some stuff, a lot of stuff I'm gonna put videos on this car, because there's nothing out there. Everything that's out there is basically a joke. There are a couple Russian guys. I don't know the name of the video because I don't speak Russian, but it's extremely informative, and it's how I found out about that kit, because for the timing, because they actually made the kit themselves. These guys are amazing. The way they made those wrenches, and a bar that they made that goes across the front camshafts to hold them in place. It's great. They should market that thing. But it's probably in an area where they don't have the means to do that. But the bar they made that goes across, and the actual wrench that they made to check the rear 2 gears it's awesome. These guys are amazing, the way they made that. I do have to, once I finish that part up, I wanted to mention the buttoning up with the valve covers. I do want to show you guys the modifications I had to do on the toolkit that I bought. I only modified one of the brackets. There's 2 that go on it, one on each side to hold the gears in place, the front gears. I did have to modify it. It did not fit properly within the camshaft itself. So I'm going to show you guys that. If you're able to do that for using the kit, great. If not, the kit really doesn't work too well unless you modify it. And again, I'll show you guys what I did. And I used my Dremel Moto tool. I cut the front pin on one side of the tool, and then on the other side I I had to actually grind off a little bit of the tool so it fits within the camshaft. What do you call it? Camshaft grooves. So yeah, so I got that to work that way, and it is something you need to do if you buy these kits. They're from China, so hey, what can I tell you? They were $65. It was like $65, I think. If you go to buy the original kit from Land Rover, be prepared to pay a very pretty penny, because I'm guessing they're going to be in the $800, $700 range, and they may just fit perfectly. If you can do that, kudos to you. But if you're like me on a budget, I had to go with good old Chinese engineering. And again, I modified that so it would work. But that's the only choice you have there if you're like me. So I'm going to take some video of that. I got to remember to show you guys that. Very important. And that's about it. So I'm almost to work. So I'm going to take and start posting some of these videos that actually show what I'm doing. And I think this is gonna help you guys a lot. I do have to remember, just before I forget, to take the pin out from the flywheel, because if you don't take that thing out, I'm gonna destroy that engine. And I'll show you guys where that's at. I do have to pressure wash the bottom end of the vehicle, because one of the things that it was doing was the camshaft seals at the back end were they failed. They kind of spin in there, so I had to change those out. And what I did to prevent them from hopefully leaking or spinning from the future in the future is I put a little bit of sealant on there, and it looks like they went in there pretty tight, because these are new seals, of course. Pretty tight, and it looks like they sealed pretty well. So hopefully that all goes well. We'll know when I start up the engine if it leaks or not, and then I'll freak out when I start leaking, right? But anyway, pretty much that's about it, guys. So I'm gonna post these videos, and again, I appreciate those of you who are watching my videos, and I really appreciate comments if you leave me any once I show you some more detailed videos on the Freelander itself. If you got questions also, leave them for me and I'll answer them. So another message from Rover Dude, and I am